Most people imagine drug cartels as chaos, gunfights, bribes, violence, men with rifles in the backs of pickup trucks. And that image isn't wrong, it's just incomplete. Because the Sinaloa cartel didn't become the most powerful criminal organization on earth through chaos. It did it through structure, through systems, through logistics, through something disturbingly familiar: a business model. For decades, Sinaloa has outlasted rivals, absorbed splinter groups, survived leadership arrests, and expanded while governments declared victory. And behind the headlines, behind the arrests, behind the bloodshed, the cartel operates less like a street gang and more like a multinational corporation. Once you understand how they really make money, you start to understand why stopping them has proven nearly impossible. Every business starts with a product. For Sinaloa, that product is drugs. But not just any drugs. Decades ago, cocaine ruled the trade. Large shipments, long routes, high risk. But pressure changed the math, so Sinaloa evolved. They shifted towards synthetic drugs, especially methamphetamine and fentanyl. And that single decision reshaped the entire operation. Fentanyl doesn't require coca fields. It doesn't need years of cultivation. It doesn't even need to be grown. It's manufactured, which means production can be scaled, optimized, and relocated, just like an industrial supply chain. Tiny quantities produce massive effects. A shipment that fits in a backpack can generate millions on the street. And Sinaloa controls every step. They source chemical precursors globally. They operate clandestine labs. They move product through established corridors into the US, hidden in cars, trucks, tunnels, and shipping containers. This isn't smuggling for survival. This is logistics dominance. And here's the real advantage: they don't always own the risk. Sinaloa operates like a platform, outsourcing street-level distribution while taking its cut upstream. They manufacture, they move, others sell. Low exposure, high volume, massive margins. This pillar alone generates billions. But money is only powerful if you can actually use it, which brings us to the second pillar. Drug money is useless if it can't enter the real economy. So Sinaloa doesn't just move drugs, they move money. Picture rivers of cash flowing upward from street dealers, through brokers and middlemen, into the cartel's financial core. That money has to be clean, and Sinaloa runs one of the most sophisticated laundering operations on earth. Shell companies, front businesses, construction firms, restaurants, import-export operations. Funds pass through dozens of layers, each one distancing the money from its criminal origin. But what separates Sinaloa from smaller groups is scale. They don't just launder money in Mexico. They move it through international banking systems, underground financial networks, and, increasingly, digital rails, Chinese underground bankers, trade-based money laundering, false invoicing, crypto transfers. The objective is simple: make illegal money indistinguishable from legal money. Once it's clean, it no longer looks like cartel wealth. It looks like investment capital. And that transformation changes everything. At some point, Sinaloa recognized a deeper truth. Why rely solely on drugs when you control territory? In cartel-controlled regions, Sinaloa doesn't just operate, it governs. Businesses are taxed. Protection fees are mandatory. Transport routes, farms, factories, fuel pipelines, everything pays. If something moves through their territory, goods, people, money, a percentage belongs to the cartel. Kidnapping becomes revenue. Human smuggling becomes a service. Weapons trafficking reinforces power. This is diversification. Just like corporations hedge risk across multiple income streams, Sinaloa does the same, except their market is fear. For locals, doing business doesn't mean competing in a free market. It means paying the cartel to exist. This pillar doesn't always generate the largest profits, but it generates something more valuable: control. And once control exists, everything else becomes easier. This is the final evolution. Once money is clean, once territory is controlled, once revenue streams are diversified, the cartel does what every durable empire does. It blends in. Hotels, real estate, agriculture, retail businesses, not just as fronts, but as real, profitable enterprises. These investments serve two purposes. First, wealth protection. Assets are harder to seize than cash. Second, normalization. The cartel becomes woven into the local economy. They provide jobs. They fund infrastructure. They become indispensable. At that point, removing them doesn't just hurt criminals, it destabilizes entire regions. That isn't collateral damage, it's strategy. The Sinaloa cartel isn't powerful because it's violent. It's powerful because it's adaptive. When one leader is arrested, the system continues. When one route closes, another opens. When one market weakens, another grows. This isn't a kingpin problem. problem. It's a business model problem. A decentralized, profit-driven, globally connected machine that understands supply, demand, risk, and scale better than many legal enterprises. And until that model is disrupted, not just the men at the top, the business survives. Because in the end, Sinaloa isn't just selling drugs. They're selling efficiency.